Podcast City Network. This is Brad Chandler, and you're listening to The Brad Chandler Show.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Brad Chandler Show. Make sure to go ahead and follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Brad Chandler Show. And you can also go to my new website. It is www.bradchandlershow.com. With me today, I have Brendan Baker, the ex-guitarist of Values, and now of Taxidermy. How are we doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. How about you? Doing real good.
You know, just living the dream, man. Living the dream. Keeping myself preoccupied, working, and doing all this, doing the podcast and whatnot. How have you been for the past year?
Good. Went back to school. Decided to start attacking the streaming thing pretty hard about a month ago. Started working on new music stuff. Left a job that I was at for like 12 years because it started driving me nuts. Okay, there's only so many times someone can question, hey, why are my balloons floating when I'm only blowing up? Why are my balloons not floating when I blow them up with my mouth? There's only so many times I can take that question before I have a goddamn brain aneurysm. Only that many times.
Where the fuck did you work where somebody asked that?
I worked at a party store in West Springfield since I was like 15, and for some reason people didn't understand science or whatever. And I probably got that question once every other week, and every time I was just like, there's no way I'm going to get this again. There's no way. And then I got it again. It's just...
I think I'd be like, you're not serious, right? I feel like I just lost like some points in my IQ from hearing that fucking dumb of a question.
Yeah, and you've known me long enough. Do you know how hard it is for me to keep a straight face while I'm getting asked that? You know, it's impossible.
You had to have. Did you not have like some smart ass comment back, or did you keep it professional?
I try to keep it as professional as humanly possible. I was just like, well, you know, the science, you know, helium's lighter than air, and air from your mouth isn't exactly helium because you kind of need the two, but blah, blah. It's, in my head, I wanted to like take them and just shake them and just go, you idiot, did you not pass high school chemistry? And these are people in like their 40s and 50s for crying out fucking loud.
Fucking Jesus Christ. And we wonder why our world's a fucking mess right now. Well, that's enough of that.
No.
We want to talk. That's enough of talking about idiots for now. We're going to start talking about...
Let's be real. It's going to get picked up again later.
Yeah, probably. I had Mikey, the vocalist, on a few episodes ago. I had one of your biggest fans, Alex, a few episodes ago as well. And I'm actually, I consider myself a fan. I've tried to see you guys every time that I could. I remember the first time I saw you guys, I was blown away. And I was telling Alex this story. One of the first things that ended up like catching my eye was the fact that you had one guitarist and two full stacks. And I've never seen that before because... you know, people don't usually do that. What the fuck, like, made you like go with two full stacks, man?
Well, okay. For one thing, there was only one of me, so I had to make it sound like there were two of me. For one thing, that's the simplest explanation. Because if you noticed, I wasn't using the same amp. I could have run it stereo, and it would have done the same thing, but it wouldn't have sounded as like full, because if you have one tone and one bass tone, that's not going to sound as huge. Second reason, I really like High on Fire. So like I watched Matt Pike with his rig one time, and his at the time was set up almost identical to mine, but his had obviously more expensive shit. But it was funny because we were both using the Proco Rat, and I used that when I was really first starting off with Values, because I used that in a previous band that was like the first hardcore band I ever like played in, period. Okay. And then the third reason is it's obnoxious, and I'm a goddamn sadist. So, you know, moving in 612. Well, I was really happy. I'm still really proud of that white cab though, because that cab has gone through like 4 people that I know. It was originally from you remember My Children, My Bride, right?
The name sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like a bigger metalcore band back in like
okay, yeah.
But they had those custom cabs made from Moss. Then it went to Ryan Moget, who was in Anti-Love. He was in Exits. He was in We Are the End for a little while. And then he sold it to our buddy Justin Rodson, who was in With Eyes Like Mine with Jordan, Kyle, Ryan. And I was in that band for a little while myself. And then I bought it off of him because I was just like, I'm just going to start running a 612 because my orange side was already a 612 and I had the Mesa 412 that I was running for like ever. But I was just like, I don't want to have that many moving parts. So I'm going to have one that's just one 612. So that's, and everything worth doing is worth overdoing. That's the 80s mantra right there.
Dude, I remember one of the first times I saw it, and because, like I said, I used to work with Mikey. I used to work with Jordan, and Jordan was the guy that had the truck. He had the hitch and the trailer and whatnot. And usually, when you see a band, it's usually the drums that are the most impressive, like the biggest part of it and whatnot. And then I've seen you guys take this. I've seen you guys take this shit out of there, and it's like, fucking Christ, dude! You had 4 cabs, you had 2 heads. You'd bring I don't know if it was like 2 guitars. I think it was 2 guitars. And was it 2?
Yeah. Well, me and Corey would always bring a main and
a backup. And we're frozen now, Baker.
Back up.
There we go. Oh, and he's back frozen again. And you're back. So you guys always had a main guitar and a backup?
Yeah. I'm gonna try to connect into my hot quick, see if that I keep freezing up on you.
That's all right. Malfunctions happen, man. I had Paul from Left Hand Backwards on, and in the middle, I accidentally kicked my power plug from my computer.
Oh.
And so, like, I was no longer here, and Paul was just, like, talking. And then I pulled up my phone and got into the stream real quick, and he was still talking. He had no idea what happened.
All right. It looks like we're good for right now. It looks like I'm okay.
All right.
Yeah, who knows? But
so
yeah, no.
You guys did the right thing, because you had a main guitar, you had the main that you would have, and then you had your backup that you'd always bring. I used to do that too, but like I had in my last couple bands, I had a 7-string, so it was I only had one 7-string, so I had to tune my 6-string down, and I would just bring that with me as my backup.
Well,
and let's be honest. Let's be honest. I only use 4 strings, anyways.
I mean, I'm the same way. And most of the time, if the high strings were used, it was just used for those ring out things that I did,
right?
Or just like for a few like weird bendy bits. Yeah, no, but I break a lot of stuff. I believe Corey said it best. I beat my strings like they owed me money, and not just a little bit of money, but a lot of money. So
where's my money,
like,
Brian?
You can imagine. Exactly. You can imagine like the damage I did to some of my guitars with that.
I've seen you play quite a few times, and the way that you play, like those downstrokes are not light.
No, they're not. They're absolutely not. I have the biggest problem with low E strings, and I'm using like a 62 to a 64 because we were
Jesus.
on six strings in drop A, and I was still shredding those things after 3 shows. Like,
Fucking
usually
Christ,
people are
dude.
like, oh yeah, the tone's dead. No, I break it. It's just gone. I mean, it's simpler that way than just like, because that way at least you're justified. Just like, oh, my strings don't sound as good. No, mine are fucking broken, all of them. Just.
I gotta ask you, man. One of the things that I've noticed when you guys play, when you play, is you're headbanging, man. The amount of headbanging that you do, like I've read an interview with Cliff Burton from Metallica. Somebody was saying about like how he would complain about having neck cramps and stuff days after playing shows and whatnot. The way that you fucking go at it. Have you had neck problems?
Awkwardly enough, no. I have had absolutely none.
Let's fucking knock on wood there, bro.
Well, here's the thing. I've been having the same stage presence since probably I was like 14 years old. So
Jesus.
I've been playing live shows since I was 14.
Okay.
I think actually one of the first big shows I was watching you talk about this with Josh when he was talking about Within the Ruins and the Creature. One of the first shows I ever played at the Waterfront was the Creature CD release.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah. And a big reason why I'm always moving my head around and stuff, this sounds weird, but I have the worst stage fright.
Now, you know what? In all honesty, I totally get that.
Yeah, it's just like
you don't have to see anybody. You keep yourself occupied. You don't fucking notice. I kind of noticed that because when you guys would be finished with a song, you would turn around towards the amp like super quick. Not super quick. It's just like you would, and
it just with that stuff, it kind of with that, like, I don't know why we started doing that. It just kind of like automatically happened. I mean, to be completely frank, we don't know why we do it. It's just aesthetically, it looks cool, and we just kind of kept doing it. Towards the end of it, it was just like, hey, what's going on? Okay, song's over, turn around. All right, so start the song, turn back. Okay, turn back around. And it would just, I mean, I thought it looked aesthetically cool after the fact watching it. I'm just like, oh, cool, it looks like we mean to do that. No, it's just, like, for me, a lot of the time, it's just like, okay, since I hit this guitar harder than I've hit anything in my entire life, yeah, I probably need to tune it back up.
Right.
Just a guess.
I have stage fright as well, and if I'm not like, if you ask me if I played a show or play a show or whatever, and then like 10 minutes after I'm off the stage, you ask me why I did something, I'll be like, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
Exactly. Like
everything that I would do, I have no idea. That's why when I was a backup vocal, when I did backup vocals, I didn't. Like, some of the times I don't remember what I'm actually saying or doing, it's
exactly like there was a little while where it was during the Violence era, like right when we first started like experimenting around with that sound. I would do some vocals on Calloused Eyes, and then when we released the split 43860 split, live for a little while, the part the give up part in Clockwork. I did that for a little while with Corey, and we both did that. And then I just stopped doing vocals entirely because, like, I was so terrified of just like messing up and like missing a note. It's just like I could do so many things at once, and I already have to worry about potentially not falling over constantly, and I have to worry about not breaking anything. So let's try to take out a few moving parts here. That and my voice sucks. So there's that as well.
Hey man, I was the lead vocalist of my last band, and after doing doing that for a little while, I've come to have so much more respect for a vocalist, frontman, and whatnot. Anybody who comes up with lyrics, it's like the hardest fucking thing.
Seriously.
And then like turning around and having stage fright, and then like trying to get people into your shit is just not easy at all. So you've been in Values. You're in a band called Taxidermy with a couple guys that I know. You're in with Justin, who's also, I believe, he's doing Carnivora, or and you're also with Chris. Chris from Hyo, who's that? I don't think that band's around anymore. I could be wrong. I haven't heard anything. They're still around?
He's been real busy with those guys. Yeah, really? I think they're doing a bunch of recording and stuff.
Well, I need to fucking kick those guys in the ass because I haven't heard shit from them in the longest times. I feel like I've lost my ways with those guys since they parted ways with Kyle, and I'm just like, holy shit, what's going on? But besides those two bands, what other bands have you been in?
Oh God, this is gonna be a long list.
Don't go too long.
Well, okay, so yeah, it's gonna be 47 hours actually. So I hope everybody's ready for. Okay, so it was in order right now. It's Taxidermy. I was in Idle Lives as well. I was in Values. I was in With Eyes Like Mine. I was in this band called Flesh Eater. Before that, I was in a band called Burning Beneath. Before that, I was in a band called Here Lies the Traitor. Before that, I was in Shouting Fire at Funeral. Then there was some other random, like, I was in a cock rock band for a little while. I can't remember.
What the fuck's a cock rock band?
Basically, they sounded like Nickelback or some shit like that. I just call it cock rock. So, and then I was before that. Oh, great! Ouija board flew off the wall again. Okay, that's just about normal. Okay, and
I wonder why.
Before that, I was in Beneath Dying. Well, you know, it's not like I got 4 of them over there or anything. It's okay. Weird hobbies, man. Weird hobbies. But yeah, no, and it's been a long journey for me.
Yeah, dude, it sounds like it. I've only probably been in about like 6 bands in my entire life. I'm 37, and man, the people I've talked to in the past couple episodes, it's like 80 fucking bands combined between you and Josh. But
yeah.
So you weren't the original guitarist for Values, and I didn't know that actually. I didn't know that actually Mikey was the only original member in that band. Since when I found you guys.
Oh, actually, no. The original lineup was Jordan, Mike Stauffer. Then we had.
I thought Jordan wasn't in the band.
Was on guitar. No, he's one of the ones who started it. It was him, Steve Wilcox, and Mike. They started it as just like a studio thing.
Okay, and Jordan was the guitarist at the time.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So, okay, so I misspoke there. I didn't realize that though, but I didn't realize that you and Corey weren't original members. But even still, like I couldn't imagine Values without either one of you two. And I don't know if you remember the first time you and I met. Huh? Do you remember the first time I met you?
I said thank you, and yeah.
So we met at Shenanigans.
A little bit. Where was it?
We met at Shenanigans, and you had you had that pipe vape.
Oh my god!
And
I forgot about that thing.
At that time, I was just trying to quit smoking cigarettes, and I went up to you and I talked to you about it as I'm sitting there smoking a cigarette, and I'm asking you about your pipe vape, and then come to find out, like I went to the show because of Mikey and Jordan, because I worked with them, and they were like, "Hey, come to the show and whatnot," and then we're outside and you're smoking your pipe vape, and I'm just like, "Hey, question about your pipe vape, blah 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 blah," and you were like super fucking proud of it. You're like doing the Sherlock Holmes thing. You're like.
Hey, dude, you know what? If you got something that looks pompous, you at least gotta be pompous sometimes, ironically, at least a little bit, because that's the whole point.
It was absolutely fucking hilarious, dude. And like thinking about it now, like looking back at it, I'm just like, oh, like man, I can't believe that was the first time we met. We were talking about that, but that was the first time that was the first time I saw you guys, and I was talking to Alex about this in the previous episode, or two episodes ago, and we were talking about how like I went and saw Mike with Deathbed Strangers, and then he told me to come check out Values. I found out you guys were playing at Shenanigans. I didn't have shit to do that day, so I was like, fuck it, I'll go check them out. I go up there. I'm like, all right, cool, you know. And like I told Alex, I was like, I only knew Mikey, so I just like hung out next to him, next to the merch, him and Jordan and whatnot. And you guys are going on stage. I see your double fucking full stacks, and I'm just like questioning myself, questioning things. And then you guys start like setting up and whatnot. And then Mikey starts jumping up and down, like getting himself all pumped up and shit. And I'm like, okay, this is a little fucking weird. And then all of a sudden, like the floor starts fucking getting packed a little bit. And I'm just like, okay, well, what the fuck am I getting myself into, you know? And then you guys start doing your like fucking like warming up type shit, like just strum real quick, let it ring out and whatnot. And Mikey's doing his talk and shit. Then all of a sudden, you guys start fucking playing. I'm like, I'm out. I'm going to the back. Like, I'm too old for this shit. Like, I'm not getting my ass kicked, you know? And it was one of the most incredible things that I did not expect.
Well, dude, thank you. That seriously means a ton. It's always interesting, like, because you're not the only person to have that reaction. I remember I can't remember, but I brought one friend old friend from college to a show, and like it was just like a standard metalcore show because we got booked on those a ton. And he was just like, "Oh, okay, I'll be up front for you." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And exact same thing happened. I think this was at the Webster too. It was we were playing with Counterparts. That's what it was. We were playing with Counterparts. I had a few friends from college go, and that show I remember it got so ape shit that you know how the Webster's set up. There's the front bar and then there's the back bar.
Right.
My buddy AJ, he was back there and he said somebody got punched into the back bar during our set, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine."
Wait, was this the underground or the main?
Underground. No, I have in all my years of playing, I have never played the main room of the Palladium or of the Webster.
Oh Jesus! I'll tell you right now, the Webster isn't all that great unless they're the main room isn't that great unless it's packed.
Well, yeah, I mean, anytime I worked there for years, and anytime you would get like a 1,300 cap room only filled with like 200 people, it was just kind of like meh. Like, and I remember nights like that. Like, even like working, it was just like, oh my god, it's so slow. Yeah, you need that energy. You just need like either the.
I worked there as well. I worked there for probably I think 2 shows.
Oh,
I worked for Switchfoot, and that was a fucking hilarious show for me to work.
Oh my god!
So I was working the gate and the back, so that like when the people come in and whatnot, so that they could go backstage. And the vocalist for Switchfoot, you know how you have to ask them for their press pass and whatnot, or their passes or whatever. So I'm sitting there and I'm asking everybody for their passes and whatnot, and he forgot his fucking badge. And this dude's got his harmonica on. And yeah, he's got his harmonica on, and I'm just like, oh, well, where's your pass? And he's like, oh, I'm the vocalist of the band. I was like, okay, well, I still need to see your pass, and you're not getting through unless I get your pass.
Oh,
we literally argued for like 45 fucking minutes. And then finally he was like, I want to speak to your fucking manager, blah, 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 blah. And so at the time, our manager's name was Sarah. And she comes over and she's like, well, what's the problem? And it wasn't 45 minutes, but it was a while. And yeah. She comes over and she asks what the problem is, and he's like, he's not letting me through. And she's like, well, do you have a pass? And he's like, no, I'm the vocalist. And she's like, well, you can't get in unless you have a pass. And then like his agent or whatever comes out, and he's like, I told you 100 fucking times not to forget your goddamn pass. This is what happens. And then I got blamed because the show, they started late. It was so fucking funny.
Jesus Christ.
They're like, yeah. Thanks to the guy out there for not letting me through.
Oh my god! Yeah, I've never been in that situation because they either threw me on doors or I was on barricade. But yeah, I was there for like probably between there and the Palladium, probably like 6 years. It was great. I miss that place so much. Except like actually the reason I left is I think I worked a show for Chief Keef.
Okay.
Took a bunch of drugs off this guy. He got pissed naturally. And then I was up at the Holyoke Mall a couple of weeks later.
And then he saw you.
And I got threatened. And I was just like, nope, not worth the paycheck. I'm out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, but yeah,
That's shitty, dude. And you're always going to run into those fucking type of idiots. You know, like, yeah, who are you? Like, do you really think that you're going to get into a show and fucking, all right, you can get into the show, throw some fucking pot in your fucking shoe or whatever.
Oh, no, it wasn't just that.
Oh, no, I'm saying, like, but you're fucking, like, probably bringing Molly with you, fucking shrooms. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I've been to shows all fucked up before, too.
Oh, we all have.
And actually, one of the more hilarious ones I went and saw, I want to say I went to a Summer Slaughter tour, our show up the Palladium, and I was tripping my balls on mushrooms.
Wait, was this before? Oh, sorry.
It was Flesh God Apocalypse was playing, and that was the time that the shrooms hit me, and I was just that was a horrible. It was so fucking bad.
Dude.
I literally ran out of there. I had a buddy of mine who he was only there to see one band, and he drove me home, and I sat in the bed of his truck. There was nothing over it. I'm just feeling the wind on me. That was the only thing that could make me feel good was the wind blowing on me, and I was fine. Like, I didn't move. I didn't do anything. I just let the wind hit me. And then I got home, and then I jumped into a bathtub with my clothes on and just started the fucking water, and I took a bath with my clothes on. No, dude, it is what it is. I mean, at least I didn't like try to jump out of his truck or fucking try to do something stupid.
Yeah, but dude, then you're gonna be all fucking soggy and shit. Like, your socks are gonna get stuck to you. Like,
I didn't give a fuck.
Dude, getting out of wet clothes is the worst, and especially when it's like a post-set like shirt or something, because I sweat a ton. There were a few shows where I legitimately could not peel the shirt that I was wearing off of me to put on my backup.
With the amount of movement that you do, dude, I could definitely imagine that.
Well, were you ever around for the era where we'd play a set and I would throw up, and then we'd play another set and then I would throw up again like the next day? Yeah, no. That was a thing for like a decent amount of time. Oh god, I think one time I remember this. We were up at the Palladium. One of my the guitarist of Burning Beneath was coming and hanging out because I think it was In Depths and Tides and Currents, and actually. In Depths and Tides at the time, that was when Ben of Shadow of Intent was singing for him. And me and him go way back with my buddy Kyle from Burning Beneath, because Ben was in Burning Beneath when he was 16. So that was, so it's crazy to see how far that guy's come. It's amazing. But anyway, I remember I was going back upstairs after our set to the merch table after we like unloaded and everything. And I'm talking to Kyle, and I'm standing next to a trash can, and I'm like, oh God, hold on a second. All right, what? And it was just like immediately just like throw up real quick. Okay, back to the conversation. And that happened probably 50 or 60 times. And actually there was one time I puked mid-set. So
it's fucking crazy, dude. Like, was that because of stage fright or?
No, I think it was just my body got overheated. I think that's what it was. I'm like 90% sure. No, because if it was stage fright, it would have been before. But again, with that, it's just like you get up on stage, and you've probably witnessed this yourself. You just kind of like black out entirely.
Yeah, that's like, exactly what happens.
You just don't remember the set, and it's just like you remember when you're getting up, and you remember when you're getting off, and that's it.
The one thing that I used to do, that my band used to do, was we would play the set like so many times before we actually had a show. So like 2 or 3 weeks before, we would play it like 2 times a week, just to make sure that it would be embedded into our head. And then we'd like write out a set list and whatnot. and we try to go by what we were practicing so that it's all like memory, memory muscle. So even if you fucking like not black out, but like you're there, but you're not there, and you still know where you are because it's all memory. So we did that like a bunch of times, and it helped because I was a front man, and it made it easier for me because I didn't have to worry about like, okay, well, we were doing this song that I'm not 100% strong on, like there was one song that we had that I didn't actually sing the correct lyrics to it until the last show.
That's the beauty of it, though. Sometimes you can just be like, with Chris from Taxidermy, for example, when we did a live session, he was just like, I can't remember the vocals to half of these, but I know the way the music goes, and I'm like, hey, just do whatever, and you can.
And there goes Baker again. What happened? What's going on?
That is the con of using an actual camera as a webcam. Sometimes it does that. But my video quality is nice, so I can deal with it. But like I wish I was a vocalist just so I could do that, because like especially because like the last 2 bands I've been in where I've played guitar, it's just been me. So like I have to be like super tight, and I can't like dick around or anything. And there were certain times for a little while where if I knew I wasn't going to hit the note right, I would just hit like a harmonic or something, and it would still work. So that's you kind of got to learn to play within your means a little bit.
Right. There's been times where like when I was playing bass for Left Hand Backwards, like for the first like couple shows, there were some times where I didn't even know the songs. And I'd just be like, all right, I'm going to turn myself down and just make it look like I'm playing,
I didn't have that option, unfortunately.
Well, that's because you were the only person. Well, you had and Corey, but you were the only guitarist. So
yeah, exactly. So, and it's even in bands where I was in, I was like, because Burning Beneath at one point, I remember I was the 3rd guy that they had playing guitar. So
Jesus Christ, that you could turn it down.
I still didn't. I still didn't. I like being obnoxious.
So let's go over a little bit of your equipment. We went over like your cabinets a little bit. Let's go over a little bit of like what heads were you using?
Oh, I was using a 6505 and a 5150 Signature Series. But the thing with both of mine is they're slightly modded. All just so very slightly. Like I have them rebiased and retubed with 2 German style 6L6s and 2 Slovak 6L6s in each head. And then in the 6505, in the first preamp tube slot, I have an Engel preamp tube, which it's the same. Those things are gross. Like I noticed a big difference as soon as I threw that in there. And then in the 5150, I think I have a Gold Lion in there right now. I haven't really like messed around too much with that. And but yeah, both of those heads, I've been a PV guy for ever, and I'm probably always going to be a PV guy now I think of it. But
my first head was a Crate Crush, Shockwave Crush, and ever since then I unintentionally had been a Crate person. I went from Crate Crush, then I went and got a Blue Voodoo.
Those are sick.
But it's unfortunate that they don't make them anymore.
Well, things I've noticed is like usually with music gear, the best shit doesn't get made anymore. It just doesn't.
I ended up having the 120 watt, which was fantastic. And I almost bought, what was it, like a 340 or something like that. And I was just like, nah, I don't need something that powerful. I think it had like fucking 16 tubes in it.
Oh, come on, that's nothing.
I'm like, I don't need something like I don't like tubes. I think the sound of the sound quality of it is better, but the taking care of it, I'd rather just go with the whatchamacallit.
Solid state.
Yeah, solid state. I was having a fucking brain fart. Thank you for.
Dude, it's all good. It's all good.
I would have rather gone with a solid state because, granted, you didn't have that warm sound like you would get out of a tube amp, but if you go out and buy the correct type of pedals and stuff, you can create that sound.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And that's what I wanted to do. So now it wasn't a Crate Crush, it was a Shockwave. My amp head that I have now is an Orange Crush.
Oh, those things, I have a very love-hate relationship with those because their clean channel is pretty good, but as soon as you go to the gain, it sounds
that's why
worse than
I use a pedal. I use a pedal for it. So
yeah. I've always been a tube guy. I think the first amp I ever got was a old Behringer 15 watt, and the first tube amp I got was actually a PV Valve King 212, and I used that until I got my 6505, and I don't know. I don't think I have one head that's been a solid state. It's a old solid state concert lead from Sun. That's fun to mess around with, but that's just pure doom amp. And you have to run a bunch of shit in front of it. It's just it's a doom amp. If you want to play some Electric Wizard style stuff or some sleep, you use that.
I have my old guitarist is a Mesa Boogie triple rectifier fan. He's literally I've known him for 16 years, and that is the one amp. That is the one thing that he has had for all 16 years. And he gets it fixed. If something's wrong with it, that's his baby. He goes and gets it fixed.
Yeah, and again, that's something they don't make anymore. And actually, in Here Lies the Traitor, the other guitar player, he used a triple rec, and that thing was the most disgusting sounding Mesa I've ever heard. And I'm honestly not the biggest fan of Mesas. Their distortion sound for me is just too trebly. I like a lot of mid in my tone. If you've ever looked at my amps or anything, the mid is almost all the way up. It's on 7 or 8 on both of them.
Not 11. So what?
27 actually.
So I remember watching you play, and I saw that you had LTD. It was a sexy fucking LTD too, I have to say. And I'm a big ESP LTD fan myself. And I've always admired when somebody else is playing one.
Love them.
I know that you recently decided to go with a different guitar. What are some of the guitar brands that you're currently playing?
Well, actually, I'm sticking with LTD because here's the reason. The reason I started playing my LTDs again, I had a couple of Fenders back in the day that I used for values. I had this one Frankenstein thing that me and Corey built, where it was a 72 strap body with an 85 Kramer neck, and that had a dime bucker in it, and it was just one pickup.
Jesus Christ.
That thing was a fucking hot rod. But I noticed with as my playing got more and more aggressive throughout Value's history, those didn't hold up as well.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
And there was a phase that I was legitimately at the end of our set taking the guitar off and just chucking it as far as I could. I really wanted to be in the Chariot for a little while, in case you haven't noticed.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah, no, but and then we switched back over to LTD, and I got that blue one, and I was just I'm sticking with LTD. I'm sticking with it because they stay in tune. I can punch them. Actually, that blue one of the first shows I ever played it, I actually got it stuck in the ceiling at the waterfront. That's something that happened. Yeah, so I have that one. I had a 7-string. I have the white telly that I've been using for a while. I actually just got that fixed because that's another thing that I picked so hard that I blew the pickup. I blew the solder right off the pickup somehow. I don't know how I did it, but it was gone. So I just figured out how that got fixed. And me and Kanan down at GNTP Media,
okay.
We're currently working on rebuilding a 2006 Eclipse. We painted it mint green. I have a Seymour Duncan. I think it's a P rail in it, which is something I've never really I haven't heard it yet. And
so hold on a second. So you rebuild guitars and shit?
Not really. No, it's just like I had this one kicking around that I really like wanted to use because I missed using it. The Eclipse was a very nice. I loved it, and especially because it was a '06 model.
I have an Eclipse that I've never been able to play because I bought it used off of eBay, and it was fucked up when I bought it. I didn't know about it. And I was just like, you know what, fuck it. I didn't really pay for it. It was a gift certificate that I got from work, and I paid. I think it was $400 for the guitar.
Ooh, what model was it? Like
I have no. It was a deluxe.
Oh yeah, that's the 1000 series. Yeah.
No, it's not a 1000.
Are you sure?
Oh, it is a 1000. Yeah, it is. This
dude,
is what it looks like
purist.
right now.
Oh, hold on 2 seconds. For some reason, your video froze up on me like 2 minutes ago. So give me a second. Yeah, you know, everything I have is broken.
It's got that red sunburst type body style with the what you will call it, the trim. It's literally just sitting here fucking collecting dust. And I want to get it fixed because I was like, this is my baby, and I really want it because I love Les Pauls, and
dude,
I've always wanted an Eclipse because it's so much lighter than a Les Paul.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're thinner, they're lighter. You can throw them around easier. I actually, one of my buddies had that red one for like a decent amount of time. He loved it.
Yeah, I've always wanted to like play it and whatnot, and I played it for a little while, and then I don't know what ended up happening. Maybe I just maybe I beat it up.
Dude, trust me. Actually, the Eclipse we're rebuilding right now. That was the first guitar I ever threw. Now that I think of it,
So, Brendan, I appreciate you so much, and I absolutely love you, dude.
Yeah, dude,
you guys and Values have been like so great to me. Everybody but Jordan. Jordan, no, I'm just busting balls. I really want to get him and Corey on here, and you know, I know Corey will bust balls, and
100%.
Yeah, Corey was one of my favorite people to fuck with while he was playing. I didn't fuck with you too much, but Corey was fun, and I love you guys. I miss you guys. I'm so sorry I didn't get to see your last show because of the snowstorm.
Dude, that was just a perfect storm in court with everything that happened. Like,
yeah, I know. I was telling Alex about it. I was like, you know, I don't remember what happened. I was like, wait a minute, that was a fucking snowstorm. That's the only reason why I didn't go. And my car is fucking horrible in the snow. And I live like 40 minutes away, like with it being dry. So I wasn't even going to try and risk it out that night. And you know,
nah, dude, I feel.
I'm so glad to know you guys. I'm so glad to know you guys, to have met you guys, and one of the things that I appreciate the most about you guys, two things: you guys are real, and you guys played my one and only show that I put together.
Yeah, dude, that one was sick. I remember you guys talking about it. It was sick.
Yeah, we had pretty much all friends. You know, like it was the Green Invaders, Values, One Ton Tommy Gun, Cyperna, an Unction and Braille, and Left Hand Backwards. It was just, and the way that I set the show up was I was like $5 until the first band goes on, and then it was $7 afterwards. So the point of that was to get everybody in there for the first fucking band, you know. So, and luckily enough,
dude, that's what you got to do now.
Luckily enough, an Unction and Braille actually played in front of a fucking crowd, dude, and it was packed that entire night. And I'm so happy that you guys were a part of it, and I'm so happy that I could have you guys on. Also,
dude, seriously,
the other show that I want to commend you guys on was your CD release.
Oh, dude, that was, I never thought that was going to happen there.
I don't think I ever talked to you guys about it, but I ended up getting a couple guys that I work with to go to the show, and they are fans. Like, they love you guys. They they loved you guys. They fucking picked up your CD. They picked up some merch and whatnot. And I enjoyed the fuck out of you. I miss you. I can't wait to fucking hear some more Taxidermy.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be real fun once everything's done and finished with it.
Yeah. And so with that being said, we're going to end the show by listening to a song from your band Taxidermy. What is the name of the song?
It is called Riley Reid Made Me Do It. And I like memes way too much. That's what that means.
All right. So everybody, please make sure to go check out Taxidermy on it's only on Bandcamp, correct?
Yeah, we're only on Bandcamp.
So you can find them on Bandcamp by looking up Taxidermy. I'll end up putting the link up here somehow, some way. Let me try and get this shit together. It's taxidermypv.bandcamp.com. And here is what is it? Riley Made Me Do It. I'm gonna
Riley Reid Made Me Do It.
Riley Reid Made Me Do It.
They told me to make every song title like a YouTube title, so that's kind of why I did that.
Well, here we go.
Hell yeah.
And of course, Baker left.